Get 50% off a subscription to IBJ and Inside Indiana Business. This Cyber Week only, get unlimited digital access and the award-winning IBJ newspaper at half off. Stay ahead with the stories, insights, and trends shaping Indiana business. But hurry, this deal ends December 5th at midnight. Visit ibj.com/cyberweek to get 50% off your subscription today.
This is Inside Indiana Business Radio for the afternoon of Monday, December 1st, 2025. I'm Alex Brown. Brazil-based Sustainea is building on its growing footprint in Lafayette with the launch of a regenerative agriculture project in the area. The renewable chemicals company said the goal of the project is to focus on advancing regenerative agricultural practices that improve soil health, avoid greenhouse gas emissions, and reduce environmental impact. Chief Business Officer Everton Vendau.
Lafayette in Indiana, as one of the higher productivity areas for corn, has always caught our attention. And I think that this project here is our first step into, getting more involved in the regenerative practices world.
Sustainea is planning to build a $400 million plant to turn corn dextrose into bio-MEG, which is used in various products such as beverage bottles, food containers, and footwear. The leader of Indianapolis-based Monument Chemical's Renewables and Fuels Division has been promoted to president of the specialty chemicals company. Sarves Perry has more than 30 years of global chemical industry leadership experience spanning research and development, operations, supply chain, and commercial management. He will begin his new role in July. United Way of Central Indiana is awarding $17.3 million in grants to dozens of regional nonprofits through its Basic Needs and Family Opportunity Funds. The organization says the funding is designed to help meet the basic needs of Hoosiers and improve the education, financial stability, and well-being of families. You can view the list of recipients at InsideIndianaBusiness.com. From the number one source for Indiana business news, this is Inside Indiana Business Radio.
Thanks for listening to this IBJ Media podcast. You're probably going to remember this ad. Do you know why? Podcast advertising works. 85% of listeners recalled hearing an ad during a podcast, and 70% of podcast listeners have acted after hearing an ad. So whether you're looking to be heard across the entire IBJ Media podcast network, sponsor one of our shows, or just start with a 30-second ad, IBJ Media can help. Contact advertise at ibj.com to learn more.
Just hours before the House was set to convene and discuss mid-decade redistricting, the chamber released a draft of how Indiana's Republican supermajority may change the state's congressional districts. Here's Gary Dick.
The map, posted to the House Republican Caucus's website Monday morning, significantly alters many of the state's 9 congressional districts to favor Republicans. Most notably, Marion County would be split between 4 different districts. Under the current maps, passed in 2021, Marion County is its own district, represented by Democrat Andre Carson. District 1 in the northwest part of the state, currently held by Democrat Frank Mervan, would no longer include most of Porter and LaPorte counties. Instead, that district would start in Lake County and extend far to the southeast to include Stark, Pulaski, Fulton, Miami, Cass, and Wabash counties. The maps come amid a tumultuous month in Indiana politics following Governor Mike Braun's call for a special legislative session to address President Donald Trump's push for GOP-friendly maps that would give Republicans an edge in maintaining their control of Congress in the 2026 midterm elections. Since Braun's call for a special session on October 27th, the General Assembly announced plans to convene on the topic of redistricting, then voted to adjourn without meeting for redistricting talks, then reverse course again and announced last week that they will meet in the first 2 weeks of December. The Senate, where it's still unclear if there are enough votes to pass redistricting, is expected to meet December 8th. This is Gary Dick for Inside Indiana Business Radio.
The Indiana Chamber of Commerce has opened voting for its 5th annual Coolest Thing Made in Indiana tournament. The bracket-style competition features a field of 49 entrants from 36 cities and towns throughout the state. The single-elimination competition is free and open to companies that make all types of products. To be eligible, a company does not need to be headquartered in Indiana, but the product entered into the competition must be made in Indiana. The winning product is determined through fan voting. We have a list of the companies featured in this year's competition at at InsideIndianaBusiness.com. Economists suggest Hoosier consumers will be cautious when it comes to spending this holiday shopping season. Nationally, sales are expected to exceed $1 trillion for the first time, but economic uncertainty is weighing on consumers, says IU Kelley School of Business retail expert John Talbot.
I think consumers are careful. The National Retail Federation expects this to be the largest spend of all time.
Right.
But consumers are cautious at all income levels. Both those that have more capacity to spend are being more judicious, and then those that are more difficult economic circumstances are going to really watch their pennies.
Adobe Analytics, which tracks e-commerce, said U.S. consumers spent a record $11.8 billion online during Black Friday, marking a 9.1% jump from last year. Consumers also spent a record $6.4 billion online on Thanksgiving Day. IndyCar legend Tony Kanaan is this week's guest on the Business and Beyond podcast with Gary Dick, presented by PNC, a weekly conversation with high-profile Hoosiers in business, sports, and entertainment, and beyond. Available now on the IBJ Media app or your favorite podcast provider. I'm Alex Brown for Inside Indiana Business Radio on Demand.
What happens when a basketball superstar changes the course of an entire city? I'm Mickey Shuey, and in Beyond Clarkonomics, we tell the story of how Caitlin Clark's arrival to the Indiana Fever sparked more than just sold-out arenas. It's rewriting Indianapolis' long-term strategy for sports, downtown growth, and women's leadership. Listen at ibjpodcast.com or on your favorite podcast app.
Thanks for listening to this IBJ Media podcast. You're probably going to remember this ad. Do you know why? Podcast advertising works. 85% of listeners recalled hearing an ad during a podcast, and 70% of podcast listeners have acted after hearing an ad. So whether you're looking to be heard across the entire IBJ Media podcast network, sponsor one of our shows, or just start with a 30-second ad, IBJ Media can help. Contact advertise at ibj.com to learn more.